Hello everyone, welcome to Madrid Pulse, your trusted source for the latest news, events, and everything happening at the heart of Spain. Real Madrid is about to embark on their journey in the new FIFA Club World Cup, and all eyes are on the two fresh faces who are set to debut in the white jersey. There may be many uncertainties surrounding the team's tournament debut, but one thing is crystal clear. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Huijsen will start. From day one, they are thrown straight into the fire, underlining just how much trust the club has placed in them. This Wednesday at 9 p.m., Real Madrid kicks off their Club World Cup campaign in the United States, and anticipation is sky high. This isn't just the start of a tournament. This is the dawn of a new era. After Carlo Ancelotti's reign came to a bittersweet end, the club has turned to Xabi Alonso to lead them into the future. A fresh coaching perspective, younger energy, and a more interventionist style now define the bench. The tactical identity is still a mystery to most, but many are already expecting Xabi to bring clarity and cohesion to a team in transition. At Bayer Leverkusen, Alonso earned accolades for implementing a dynamic three-man backline with wingbacks, a tactical shift that brought down Bayern Munich and won Leverkusen the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal. However, at Real Madrid, it appears Xabi will lean towards a more traditional 4-3-3. It's a system the current squad is more familiar with and seems better aligned with the profiles of players he now has at his disposal. The defensive line, however, is where things are getting especially interesting. Injuries plagued Madrid's backline last season. Dani Carvajal, Eder Militao, and David Alaba all spent significant time on the sidelines, creating constant instability in the defense. That instability arguably cost Madrid their shot at winning La Liga, the Champions League, and the Copa del Rey. It was a season of unmet expectations, and it's clear the club recognized that defensive reinforcements had to be a top priority. Trent Alexander-Arnold comes in as the natural replacement for Carvajal, who, although he has traveled with the squad to Miami, may not be available until the latter stages of the tournament. Trent brings not just defensive stability, but a unique attacking threat from the right flank, known for his pinpoint crossing and vision that can split defenses in a second. His experience with Liverpool, especially in high-pressure knockout games, will be invaluable in a tournament of this magnitude. On the other hand, Huijsen's inclusion is just as significant. The young center-back is already gaining traction in the Spanish national team setup and now finds himself stepping into a Real Madrid defense that desperately needs fresh legs and reliable performers. With Rudiger still recovering, Vallejo out of the squad, and both Alaba and Militao sidelined due to serious injuries, Huijsen isn't just filling a gap. He's stepping up into a leadership role far beyond his years. And he's ready for it. The urgency to build a solid defensive core before this new Club World Cup begins has shaped Madrid's transfer window in ways we haven't seen in past years. The moves came quickly and decisively. The presence of a new international competition, combined with the disappointment of the previous season, pushed the club to act with unusual swiftness. There's no doubt that Gianni Infantino's revamped tournament has caught the full attention of Florentino Perez and Valdebebas. In fact, it was Madrid that initially raised concerns over the infrastructure of the inaugural edition. But those doubts are now behind them. Now, they want to be the very first club to lift the golden spherical trophy that symbolizes supremacy under the new world format. This tournament means more than just another title. It's a statement. It's history in the making, and Madrid intends to be written into the opening chapter. And while Trent and Huijsen are leading the charge on the field, behind the scenes, the club is already thinking long-term. The third major signing before the tournament was 17-year-old Argentine wonderkid Franco Mastantuono. Although he'll represent River Plate in this competition, he's already been locked in as part of Madrid's next generation. His future is white. But for now, the spotlight is firmly on the two players who will wear the badge from the very first whistle. Their presence in the starting 11 speaks volumes about the club's strategic shift. It's not just about patching holes anymore. It's about building something sustainable, resilient, and bold. Trent and Huijsen aren't stopgaps, they're foundational blocks. The new season begins not in Spain, but in the heart of America. And Madrid, with a new coach, a refreshed squad, and 2 game-ready new signings, steps into this competition not just to compete, but to conquer. For Madridistas everywhere, this is more than football. It's a declaration of intent. This is Real Madrid 2.0, and the journey starts now. Here are some tasks that Alonso could face to rebuild Real Madrid. The Xabi Alonso era gets underway today on a shoestring with the presence of the 4 available players, Fran Garcia, Lucas, Ceballos, and Asensio. The injured players, Militao, Carvajal, Courtois, Valverde, Rodrigo, Rudiger, Mendy, Endrick, Alaba, and Camavinga, and waiting for the internationals to return from their commitments with their national teams before traveling to Miami on June 13th to face the first game of the last title of the season 5 days later. I have an idea of how we want to play, but that picture of the system can change. I want the team to connect with the people. With 3 center-backs, we'll work well. Xabi confessed about the task that most worries Real Madrid fans after a year in which the departure of Toni Kroos has completely blurred Real Madrid. A very meticulous style of play that he has managed to perfect at Bayer, based on ball control, quick transitions, freedom in attack, and a solid defense. Imposing a playing style that combines touch and possession with high pressure when the ball is lost will be the Spanish coach's main task in order to compete for titles again. Prioritizing the creation of advantages in midfield to control the game and generate scoring opportunities, with a monitored freedom in attack that doesn't suppress the player's creativity. He always tells us that positions have to be occupied, but not always by the same player. They explain to Marca about a guideline that Xabi strictly adheres to. Here, he could manage several systems to fit all his pieces together, taking advantage of the 4-3-3 tactical structure, or even a flexible 4-2-3-1 to adapt to the needs of each opponent. A clear playing style, verticality, quick arrivals in the box, and a high pace that demands quick thinking from the players to execute all these combinations almost automatically. Achieving the necessary automatism so that all players move without thinking, but always finding the optimal space. The Champions League final became required reading for Real Madrid. Defensively today, he was exceptional. Everyone is worried. It's true that the work must be collective, but the first to apply pressure are always the attacking players. And to create the aggressive, dynamic, and high-intensity style of play so necessary in today's football, constant pressure after losing possession physically wears down opponents, causing their errors to increase and their performance to decline as the minutes pass. This is where the task of redefining some of the forwards' roles comes into play. We have to get everything they have is what we're hearing these days at Valdebebas. And now, if a player goes solo, the pressure loses all its power. They will be required to score goals because that's their main function, but also to work collectively. It's important to understand that effective pressure, which results in winning the ball back, allows for quicker rest and creates uncertainty in the opponent. One of the main defensive principles of Xabi Alonso's teams is to maintain a compact structure both defensively and in midfield, where position and space are key to understanding everything, how the team organizes itself to reduce the spaces between the lines. And after a year in which Ancelotti had to do a lot of juggling in every game to form his back four, Xabi's mission is to regain defensive solidity. The arrivals of Arnold and Huijsen, while Carreras is pending, invite optimism, but achieving a compact and well-organized unit will be essential. The 76 goals conceded in the 62 matches played to date are figures that are worrying for the Madrid club. Therefore, the foundation for Alonso's success must be based on the effectiveness of his defensive system to root out the problems of his predecessor. It seems vital that everyone understands their role in defense, and for that, discipline is a non-negotiable point. There is no room for improvisation or slacking off at the back. There won't be any heavy physical demands in these first few days. The focus will be on implementing the style of play and training methodology that Xabi wants to develop at Real Madrid. It will be a small-staffed job, but it's key for the coach to get to know his squad, the club, and the environment around him. Shortly after speaking at the press conference at Real Madrid City, he got down to business, soaking up absolutely everything, before making a few requests to complete everything he could. The first day will serve to assess the infirmary and get a good look at the field. 10 Real Madrid players are training with their national teams. As for the injured players, there are up to 10 in the infirmary. Of these, Endrick, Camavinga, and Mendy are practically ruled out for the tournament. Rudiger could be back in time, although his condition will need to be analyzed. And Courtois and Valverde shouldn't have any problems for the World Cup despite withdrawing at the last minute from their respective national team calls. The biggest doubts are Militao and Carvajal, who are still in the recovery phase and dream of being able to play again. However, the Whites are clear that they won't push the ball in the slightest with two players they consider key for next season. With this in mind, Xabi will have to manage his squad just enough to begin to draw the first steps of his career. One of the biggest demands from Real Madrid fans is for homegrown players to have more involvement. And despite the fact that Carlo Ancelotti has relied more than ever on La Fábrica, it's clear that with the Tolosa native's arrival, the youth academy will reach a new level. Or so they think of Valdebebas. Xabi Alonso's project hasn't even gotten off the ground yet, and the coach has already requested reports from the youth players with the best potential to see how the first team can benefit. Gonzalo, Victor Muñoz, Kema, Yusi, Jacobo Ramon, Fortea, Diego Aguado, Fran Gonzalez, and Mestre will take the world test in the first training sessions at Real Madrid City. Xabi likes to lead by example, and the communication with Arbeloa, who takes over from Raúl at Castilla, couldn't be better. Something that all the youth players who perform at the level expected by the club will be able to benefit from. Frenchman has only one objective in mind: the Club World Cup. After a season filled with frustration, injuries, and missed opportunities, the midfielder is determined to end the campaign on a high. His recovery has come just in time, and judging by the intensity and confidence he's shown in recent sessions, he's ready to make a significant impact. But before continue, make sure you have already subscribed for getting more Real Madrid updates. Let's dive in. Camavinga's return is not just a personal triumph. It's a major boost for Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso's plans ahead of the prestigious international tournament in the United States. Camavinga suffered a serious muscle injury on April 23rd, and initial assessments suggested his season might be over. The prognosis was grim, and many feared he would not feature again until the next campaign. But the midfielder, never one to back down from adversity, took matters into his own hands. Through relentless rehabilitation, guided by both the club's medical staff and his own determination, he accelerated his recovery timeline. In less than a month, he was already posting photos and videos from training sessions, working with the ball, wearing boots, and even sharing the pitch with fellow returnee David Alaba. His body language in those training images spoke volumes. There was no hesitation in his movement, no signs of discomfort, and certainly no sense of holding back. Camavinga looks fully fit, both physically and mentally, and his presence in training with the first team confirms that he's already integrated back into the group. For a player who has been ruled out of 25 matches this season and spent 135 days on the sidelines due to 4 separate injuries, it is a significant personal comeback. Now, as Real Madrid prepare to travel to the United States for the Club World Cup, Camavinga is ready to be part of the squad, not as a mere backup, but as a potential game changer. Xabi Alonso will be counting on him to add energy, control, and versatility to the midfield. The Frenchman's ability to break lines with his dribbling, recover possession with his tenacity, and adapt to different roles makes him a valuable asset for any manager, and Alonso will be eager to finally utilize him after what has felt like a lost season. Alongside the arrivals of Dean Huijsen and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Camavinga's return feels like an unexpected bonus, almost like a new signing. With his fitness confirmed and his attitude intact, he brings depth and experience that will be critical in a competition as demanding and fast-paced as the Club World Cup. Real Madrid are aiming for their latest title, and Camavinga's inclusion could be the difference in tight matches where legs tire and games are won in midfield battles. This season has tested Camavinga in every possible way. It began with a setback ahead of the European Super Cup nearly a year ago, and from that moment on, it seemed like he was never able to build momentum. Injury after injury disrupted his rhythm, forcing him to sit out important matches and denying him the chance to consistently showcase his talent. For a player of his ambition and drive, such a campaign has been difficult to digest. But rather than dwell on the negatives, Camavinga has kept his focus on returning better and stronger. His commitment has not gone unnoticed. Within the squad, his teammates and the coaching staff have praised his work ethic and mental strength. Sharing the training field with David Alaba, himself returning from a long layoff, has helped both players build confidence. And as the full squad slowly returns to fitness, the timing couldn't be better. Vinicius and Brahim have also recovered. Rodrigo is expected to return, and the concerns surrounding Courtois and Valverde appear minimal. Real Madrid will likely head to the United States with a nearly full-strength squad. For Camavinga, the Club World Cup is more than just another competition. It is a chance at redemption. A strong showing would not only help his club, but also remind the footballing world of his immense talent. At just 22 years old, his career is still in its early chapters, but this upcoming tournament could mark a turning point. If he can stay fit, contribute meaningfully, and help Madrid lift yet another trophy, then the narrative around his difficult season will shift dramatically. From nearly being ruled out to becoming a potential starter, Camavinga's journey over the past few weeks encapsulates his resilience and hunger. He is back in training, ready for action, and eager to play his part. With the Club World Cup now within touching distance, the stage is set for Eduardo Camavinga to make a triumphant return and give this season the ending he and the club deserve.